Welcome to the Selectmen's meeting for the 18th of May, 2020. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jeff, before you start, can I just... So, Karen does the minutes for the, on the rebroadcast, and she's having a difficult time because no one's speaking up into the microphones. So if we could just remember when you speak to speak into the microphones. Sherry's got one, I have one. There's one that the light's out, that one doesn't work.
Yes, I don't think it's
So you guys
plugged
each have
in.
one that works. Just so you can do that so she doesn't have to try to guess what was said.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the first...
Selectman Van's joining us via phone.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Selectman Burdick is sitting just off camera for his present. First item on the agenda is for the cemetery's rules and...
I was going to let Chris have
Oh,
first.
that's right, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I back that
didn't wanna
up.
sit
It'll
down.
be from Chief Moore. Chief Moore, you have the floor.
Okay, are we talking about signs tonight? or
Yes,
do I-
please.
Okay, so we looked at the restrictions along Chase Park, signage as far as the parking signs. Some of them are faded, they're inconsistent. So what we did is we went out and we measured it, and I should have had that. I do have that. email.
3,300 feet.
Yep, 3,300 feet between. Sorry, I should have highlighted this in my.
Reservoir, is that the dam?
Yeah, it goes. It's the road just past the dam, and then the road just past the. I got the actual road names in
The
here.
entrance?
There's the entrance, and then the Z Shore Drive is further
Waterman
down.
Road to Page Hill Road. So we
Waterman.
measured between Waterman Road,
Right,
Page Hill
Page Hill.
Road, which was like 6,800 feet between both sides, and then we subtracted everything we wouldn't need to restrict with parking restrictions. We came up with 3,300 square feet. One parking sign every 75 feet. We're looking at about 40 signs if we want to do that. I looked at some prices online between $1,000 and $1,500 for signs. I didn't look at the in-town guide, just looked at a general price online. And what that'll do, no parking this side, towing enforced is what they all would say.
Have you talked to the highway superintendent, because he can get them possibly through the state, either correctional industries or state highway? And
I did not, I just got up.
Maybe cheaper, so
Yeah.
I mean,
It
have
will
him,
be cheaper.
have him look at it, and they'll put whatever wording, and they'll make the signs to state regs for the
And is that
size.
Benji?
Yeah, talk to Benji.
Okay, got it.
So,
Okay, no problem. So I want to bring this up too. I got an attorney, just to see which way y'all want me to go on this. I got an attorney request for 91 A's of arrest logs. We don't keep arrest logs. We looked at the RSA because we don't already generate that report. We're not required to generate that report. The attorney didn't like that. He said he's going to take us to court, which is fine. We got Mark's opinion. Mark said, yeah, RSA, we don't have to. My thing is, obviously, the resources of the police department are funded by taxpayers.
Right.
Anything we do is dedicating our resource. This attorney isn't even in our town. So essentially, we're going to pay somebody's salary to generate that report if we want to. Now, it'd probably be about 20 minutes a week to do something like that, and we could put it online. It would satisfy his request and anybody else's request, whoever did something like that. We used to do it at my old work. We can limit what information we put in the arrest log. If we do something like that, I would suggest only last name, first initial, the block of where they reside instead of the actual address. Like if it was 142 River Road, it's only the 100 block of River Road. And then the charges. Just an idea, but I know the concern about making information on arrests previously was discussed. I don't mind making case law at all. I think we're within our rights to refuse it because we don't already do it. Just seeing which direction y'all want me to go.
just to maybe elaborate on that, is he's not looking for one specific arrest information. He's looking for
An arrest log.
everybody.
Correct. Anybody we arrest, he's looking for what they got arrested for. You know, I have a theory of why he's doing it, but I don't know. It's irrelevant of why he's doing it. He requested it. It's within his right. If we had it, if we generated it, I'd give it to him. I told him I'd give it to him, but we don't have it. So I'm not required to give it to him per RSA.
I would say at this point, it's not something to really worry about.
Okay.
I mean, you've got enough work to do without, if you're not generating this, if he's looking for a specific case.
Nope. We have a
And
process
then,
for that.
yes, I mean, he has the right under, if he's representing somebody in the district court rules to get that paperwork. But
Absolutely.
If he's just fishing,
He's fishing.
and you're not generating that paperwork, and if Mark said no, then you don't have to, then I would, right now, you get enough to do. I don't think that adding,
good with that.
unless somebody else,
Revisit once all this stuff.
if he decides, if somebody with a higher authority that sits at a bench with a black robe says you got to, then okay, that's a different story.
No problem. Just a general question. If I'm going to restrict traffic, do I need to let you guys know?
Restrict traffic and,
So the middle school is going to do an end-of-graduation event. To keep traffic from building up on 114, we're going to have everybody come in from 77, which means we're not going to let people turn into the parking lot from 114. So I've got straight-only signs there, and then right-turn-only signs when they come back out of the parking lot. It's not a state road, so it's something we control.
what, Center Road?
Correct.
Okay, but if you're gonna do it on the state road, you have to.
Nah, we're not touching the state road.
Yeah.
We're just telling them if you come from the direction of 114, you're not turning in the parking lot. You got to come from 170 or from 77, and that went out via email to all the parents, so they know. That way, traffic only backs up from center. Make sense?
Yeah.
I didn't know if there's any kind of paperwork y'all needed for us to do
No,
that.
As long as it's not on the state road. So you
Nope,
have to get
stayed away from
you
it.
have to get
And
permits
that's
from
for
them.
the,
That's just for middle
elementary
Yes.
or the middle school?
I'm sorry, for the elementary.
Elementary.
Centerwood School.
So
yeah.
you're probably gonna do something, is the high school and the middle school, doing something?
So the high school's still working on their finalized plans.
Okay.
They're going to do some type of graduation event at the high school. They're also looking at a parade after the graduation. We're applying for the permit because that would go down 114.
Right.
And the kids earned it, so hopefully we get the permit and we can do all that. And we're happy to oblige,
Yeah,
our
Pat's Peak
our
could
graduating
do
seniors.
what Cranmore's doing.
Say that again?
Pat's Peak could do what the Kennett kids are going to Cranmore.
I saw that.
That'd be cool.
Yep, saw that in the paper.
If we share high school,
Mm-hmm.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Nice idea, but anyway.
Yep. And the last thing, y'all have heard me talk about the rifle program. I just have the paperwork for y'all to review next time, including purchasing procedures. But I'm just going to give it to you so you can review it next 2 weeks, and then we can discuss the next meeting. Essentially, it's called an operational order of how we deploy the rifle. After that, you have a list of, and there's one for John.
Yeah.
What equipment is authorized, and after that is a special order which govern the procedures of how we would buy them. Obviously, we have 4 donated rifles right now, meaning the department has no rifles. If the guy who donated the rifles want to take them back, we'd have nothing. So this kind of creates a win-win where the town doesn't have to dump a whole lot of funds in giving us rifles because the officers will pay half the cost for the rifles.
This is the one we spoke about before, that when they pay for it, and then if they leave, they get to keep it, or?
Not necessarily.
Not
So they have to retire in at normal service retirement in the New Hampshire retirement system.
Yep.
If they can buy it if they do leave early, they can pay.
Pay the difference.
Yeah, correct, and that's all listed out in
I
there.
remember you were saying something about that.
Plus, there are a couple exclusions if they have to remain in good standing. Like if they get charged with a felony where they can't own weapons anymore, we own it, and we don't have to pay them anything for it.
that's
And
right.
there was something else in there. Oh, if they leave and they don't want to buy it, it defaults to us too. We don't have to pay them anything for it. I put those 2 exclusions in there.
We'll look it over.
Alrighty, and that's it. That's all I
All
got.
right, thank you. Thank you.
Anything else for me? Otherwise, I'm gonna skedaddle.
Okay.
And, just so, I mean, we did get, and I spoke to you earlier, so we get a letter from a citizen, and so you're available, that if there's another issue somewhere along that, up on the Bogue Road area, that the police department will respond to that.
Always do.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all. You see, it was from a citizen up on Bogue Road, getting a quizzical look, that found a discharge round on their porch. And it was unnerving, and I can understand that. It landed on their back porch, but
Theoretically,
department's looking into it, and so.
I mean, it could have been somebody's lucky bullet, and they went up to the guy's house and dropped it out of their pocket. We don't even know if it's fired. It's not linked to a
There's
crime.
been
It's
shooting-
not evidence.
Shooting going on up there, so,
Sure, shooting going on everywhere.
everywhere.
Still waiting to see the cannon.
There's a few of them around.
Yeah, so, okay.
Okay,
That's all I
thank
got.
you.
Thank you.
All righty, thank
So
you.
it should be 3 out there if they you wanna send them in.
All righty. Have a good night.
Okay.
You too.
I thought, what all the selectmen, you should have got.
Oh, didn't.
Yeah, I got, the heading I got said all selectmen, I listed, but I'll double check it.
Okay. No, you just have to stay 6 feet apart. We're not assigning seats.
Yep.
We can, but we'd rather not.
Oh,
Bill's got the right idea. Arms out.
so who's gonna talk at the microphone, Bill?
Yeah. Next item is on the agenda is the cemetery, so,
Hang on a second. I can do that.
Have that email?
and the eloquent Mr. Tiffany Esquire, I guess, is going to be speaking.
Yeah, see, it doesn't say it on mine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Up to you.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I opened up, it said other details, and it listed everybody. I'll have to check it. I would have forwarded it.
What I got here is a copy for all of you.
Thank you, sir. At least it's even highlighted, and,
Everything's highlighted. The numbers with the highlights are still important, but I didn't think they were important. One for Sherry, yeah? Okay. Now, I guess there was a complaint.
Thank you.
That, I don't remember the lady's name, but she thought that Connie was yelling at her, and I don't think that Connie would do that. That's my opinion, but I've heard Connie give direction to other people. So now, okay, as you can see, interments talks about December 1st to April 1st. And then a deed must be presented to Connie before burial arrangements can be finalized. Then Roman numeral 2, transfer assignments. Only residents or individuals who can prove residence are permanent to purchase cemetery lots from the town. Item 2 under that is no lot may be transferred or assigned to another individual by the lot owner. Roman numeral 3, work within the cemetery. Article 1, I felt the most important thing was any trees or shrubs situated on any lot by means of their roots or branches become detrimental to the adjacent lots or avenues, or unsightly or inconvenient for maintenance. The trustee shall have the right to remove said trees and shrubs or such parts thereof. Item 3, under Roman numeral 3. No curbing, fencing, hedging, grave mound borders, or enclosures of any kind shall be allowed around any lot, and no walks of brick, cinders, tile, stone, marble, sand, cement. Artificial flowers, they must be removed by October 15th. Monuments and markers, Roman numeral 4. Any individual markers must be flush with the ground, and lettering must be incised, not raised. Then 2 and 3 apply. I just tried to pick the ones that I thought were most relevant. Roman numeral 6, hours availability. Cemetery grounds open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Any entry onto the said cemetery grounds other at other times without prior consent of the trustees or agent shall constitute trespass. The, excuse me. The cemetery shall not be used for recreation purposes. Was it, Connie, last week or something you
I
saw?
have all the above.
Huh?
I have all the above.
Yeah.
Joggers, walkers, bikers.
I understand, but you
skateboarders.
spotted somebody playing putt-putt golf out there, and he's wearing.
We did, yes.
Yeah, and I went,
We
I
have-
went there and told him politely, this is not for
believe that.
recreation, so, yeah. Well, he said there's grass, I said, that's mostly sand, this was on the north end of the East Ware Cemetery, so.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Anyway, so that's about it in a nutshell. Now, John, did the Quakers not turn the cemeteries over for the town to maintain?
We still own the cemeteries. We have the right to say who goes in there. The town has a maintenance.
Okay, well, I talked to Terry Knowles about this on the 15th, on Friday. And I talked to her about this other bit on the 12th. And she said that it didn't matter whether it was Catholic cemetery or Quaker cemetery, if they, people couldn't maintain it, then the current sexton is the sexton for those cemeteries under state law. She didn't give me an RSA, but, so I said, well, if John's got any questions, I'll have him call you, so.
I'll have to take that back to the Quakers, because that's the way we gave the money to the town, was that
Yeah.
we kept the right to say who goes in them.
I'm just telling you what she said, so, anyway. That's all I've got.
Probably worth a phone call.
I would think.
It's probably worth a
Yeah,
phone call,
probably
just so
worth a
everybody's on the
phone
same page.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, that's what she told me, so. I'm not trying to take away your rights, I know there was a question about it, so.
Can I ask, Connie and I had a conversation
Sure.
about the email. The lady that was there maintaining the spot and was asked to leave. Now, I guess it's not an easement. When you get a cemetery, you actually get a deed for a 10 by 10 square.
What people are misunderstanding is they're purchasing the right to bury their loved ones.
Mhm.
Once that's covered,
Yeah.
the ground on top is up to, in this case, Connie, to mow the grass, blow the pine needles away and all of
Okay.
that, and suck up the leaves, so that's the way that works.
So we talking two different things, because I think Connie and I got talking about flowers.
Yeah,
Every Memorial Day, I'll say us Bolton women go and do a half dozen of them because along Pine Grove. But we do the flowers. If there's a pine needle, I'll pick it up. But I'm saying we mostly do the flowers.
Just one day only,
save you
come
one
on.
pine
So
needle.
I'm just saying, is that still a question? You and I had that
So
question.
the issue is,
You have to, nobody can hear you from there.
Yeah.
There you go.
so what the issue is, and even
Could you
if you
just
look on.
identify yourself for the,
Yeah.
I'm Connie St. Clair with Big Dog Landscaping. I deal with the cemeteries. I have the contract to mow the cemeteries and the sexton and on the committee for the cemeteries. So you and I, Naomi, obviously. A lot of people are not, and I don't know who has these. When Mary was giving out deeds, she would send this to everybody that
Yeah.
got.
It's on the checklist that you send it with it, right?
Right. First time I've ever
Do
seen
people
it.
look at it? Probably
I've seen
not.
it, but no.
What I've seen in the cemeteries, definitely not.
Yeah.
The big issue, like we discussed, is other people, or say you, I'm gonna use you as an example, because I haven't done mine yet, but,
Yeah. We haven't done ours yet either.
you know, just using the small, what do you call them, small little
Trowel?
trowel or little rake or whatever you wanna call it. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But I'm getting paid by the town to maintain. So that means raking, blowing.
Right,
you
but
know,
not the
mowing.
flowers.
Nothing to do with the flowers.
Right.
So if, like on yours, I believe, there's a dead bush, I believe.
It's almost dead.
Okay.
Not quite.
It will be coming down, it'll get cut.
Sure.
But On the other
Is that something
hand,
we should take down?
no, I can cut it.
Okay.
No big deal. But my biggest issue is, and I'm not, I have been told by Bill Tiffany and Don Rogers that you're not supposed to mow, weed whack, blow, whatever,
Yeah,
but it's not in here.
yeah.
So that's what the issue is. It is not in here.
That's kind of where it's, yeah.
My biggest issue, and it's probably never going to get resolved, is the marble little gardening everybody's doing. That's not gonna, the biggest issue is the plastic flowers that people just decide to put somewhere.
Yeah,
No rhyme or
There's
reason.
no rhyme or reason, and it's just in there, but in here, it says otherwise, that they're supposed to have it in at least a bucket or something.
right.
Windy day, it comes along, well, I'm not always running for those flowers, guess where they're going to be going?
Yeah.
In my mower, and guess
It's an
what happens?
expense. Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Takes me more time to pick
Because we
it
talked about a
up.
liability, so I did check with
Oh.
Primex. You and I
For
talked
the-
about liability of letting others
Yeah.
on there.
The
And
insurance for the
So
town.
I conferred with Primex, and Primex is the one who does our insurance. And they, I just explained that, you know, you get a 10 by 10, and is it all right to do that? Would it be covered, kind of a thing. And they, two of them conferred together. One does risk management, and one does the liability. And says that there's, for what I explained as far as taking care of the flowers and owning the 10 by 10, there is no coverage implication, meaning that if a plot owner or caretaker were to get injured using their own personal implements, it would not necessarily project liability on the town. However, if a claim was submitted, Primex would defend the town. So
Is
we
it worth
do,
even doing that?
we do have liability. I mean, you even said though, you're not there all the time, so
Oh,
it's tough.
thank
So
God.
you're gonna have all those things there. You know, he did offer me a couple other places, and I think it might be worth looking at. One was New Hampshire's Cemetery Association, and there was another one. I didn't click on it, but
Is that one right out of Concord, her name April at all?
no. They just gave me two organizations that might have some better restrictions that we do if you're thinking about maybe adding to the regulations.
So it's almost like we have to have it in the bylaws, or the
Well, I'm
selectmen have
thinking
to
we could
vote on
probably
that.
have a public hearing to make the changes, because they aren't abiding by a lot of them right now, as far as the bottom part. I think the rest of it's fairly explanatory, but again, they're supposed to move, there's all artificial flowers that will be removed by October 15th, I know, as well as there's still.
Well, I'm having an issue with the recreational
Okay,
as well.
okay.
So it's not just the dog
Yep.
pooing.
That's supposed to be picked up, says right
Great,
there.
the last
Yeah,
one.
I have joggers, I have walkers, I
Yeah.
have, little kids on their bicycles, but some people don't realize that when you're walking in the cemetery and someone drives by, well, guess where you put, on that monument? And people are getting a little irritated about that because more pressure on that thing is gonna fall over,
Right.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
so.
Yep.
The other thing, it's a little bit disrespectful.
Disrespectful, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking,
that's what
yeah.
I'm thinking more, it's disrespectful.
Absolutely.
On top of a grave,
No, that's right.
Well, I mow it, but otherwise, anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But
you know,
I,
one thing to go and look.
I think
take
the
a
worst,
quiet walk
besides
through
the
it or something
flowers,
else, yeah.
the plastic flowers, is the dog.
Recreation.
Yeah, no, the dog and recreation. yeah.
27 piles just in Pine Grove, just in that first beginning of Pine Grove.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I don't know, maybe we put some posting out.
That'd be
I
nice.
think we add some additional
we
signage.
were talking about maybe getting some metal signs to put up at
Yeah.
each entrance.
Yeah, stating the rules.
Like a stop sign
I don't
even.
know whether they stop.
Well, I'm
reading.
just saying a quick,
But they're
not
there.
recreational.
Right.
You know, it would give, without a sign.
Yeah, if they bring
You
your
don't have
dog
any
in
teeth.
and pick up the,
I
Yeah.
mean, maybe we don't have to print everything on this sign, but we
No.
can put what you're talking about. and-
The highlights.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
highlight it.
Yep.
And put it on the signs,
Mhm.
and, because the active cemeteries are Collins, Johnson, Pine Grove, and the East Ware, those are the
Yep.
main ones.
Yep.
And, Sugar Hill and the Eaton Cemetery.
Yes.
up there. Those
Yep.
are the most active ones at this point.
But we're not having an issue with those.
Yeah, I
think
can
it's just the
see
three big
where
ones.
those four that you listed,
Yeah.
right there on East Road, it's kind of quiet.
Right.
So I could see that being
Yeah.
the highlight where
Yeah.
I
they're
mean,
doing
we've
it.
got, what, going 43 three cemeteries?
Yeah, you do.
About that.
Well, there's more than that if you look at all the private ones, there's
Yeah,
60-something,
yeah.
See, I think it's
43 town
67.
67 or 68, yeah, I was gonna say 68.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I speak to this for just a minute? You know,
Yeah, speak into it.
I've lived in town all my life, and I've raked the cemeteries myself quite often. And I've got people buried in South Ware, Center Square, and I've gone to both of those, and I have a great-great-uncle who's buried in the East Ware, who was I always put flowers over there or a wreath in the wintertime a lot of times. But I've always picked up junk, sticks, and I've put them in a garbage bag and taken them
It
home
would
with
be
me.
great if, people have the monuments, and then they like wrap their wreath around the monument, or put things
Always
on the
did,
monuments,
yeah.
would be great, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's where I've done it.
A lot of people aren't thinking of, making it the arms, I don't know what you'd call them, the sides, and put the flowers there, but that's,
Yeah. But you don't have a problem if somebody just goes in and rakes the lot off, if it's all pine needles or sticks and
You
stuff.
haven't gotten there
That's-
yet?
And you haven't gotten there? Do you have a problem if somebody goes in the week before Memorial Day and does that?
I think that's what our issue is right
The
now.
issue is
I
if
think
they go
that's,
in there, and they trip on a root or something like that and get hurt,
Well,
is the town
think-
gonna be liable for
I
it?
think it said that, I guess that they would back us. I mean,
Yeah, but those are the only concerns we have, and I mean, as far as planting, within 1 foot all the way around the headstone, that's the limit. There's no
That-
plastic fencing. or
Right.
anything.
No
You can
bark
put a little bit of
mulch,
bark-
yeah.
You can put a little bit of bark mulch.
I'd be the worst, I would be like
there's no bark mulch.
going to, where.
so if I go do this, I'm not breaking any law, right? If I go rake. I mean,
Well,
I've
we
been
have
doing it for
nothing
60
on,
years.
we don't have anything in here saying that. That's why we're here, because I got a warning, or whatever you want, an email,
Yeah, an
saying
email.
that
Yeah, I got a
So-
phone call that day.
so I don't know what
Well, I think.
that's why we're
I
here.
think signage would be a huge part.
I think signage
Because
would be
even
huge.
even if you bought your plot, like you guys are buying a plot tonight, I'm gonna send you these. You gonna remember where they put them,
No,
right?
probably not.
Your kids might not know what they're gonna do with it.
Who knows?
So. But
To answer your question, that's why we're here.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
to try to figure out if
Yeah.
it's going to stop or if it's keep going. I mean, what am I hired for?
Well, I'm not telling you that. There's not very many people that are doing it, believe me. Unless something's happened recently, because I've been in the cemeteries. My brother's buried there, my grandparents are buried there, and great-grandparents. I mean, I've never seen any big amount of people around, I can
No,
tell you.
not- it's
Sometimes
not-
I'm the only one there,
I
so-
can't be there 24/7, so,
Right. No,
I mean,
Right. Yeah.
but on the other hand,
Headstone stolen out of Center Square, too.
a couple years ago. Yep.
Yeah.
Why, who knows, but
Don't know where it went.
we
anywho.
could price some signage.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
signage
Yep.
would probably be
I
a
think
huge part.
probably the other thing.
That would probably help a lot.
Relook at your,
Yeah, and I'll send you
Regulations
the
and-
link,
Yeah.
the couple of
Touch it
places.
up.
Just, I think maybe it needs a little touch up.
update, yeah.
Which is not a bad idea.
These are back, what, 2015, I think?
16. She did them in 16.
15.
16, yeah.
Yep.
It was back when Janet Brown was on the board. we did.
Yes.
But even if the signage just said if
Oh, just the highlights, what we've been talking about right now. That's all. I mean, it doesn't have,
Recreation.
it doesn't have to be this whole
So-
thing.
Dogs,
So
yeah.
say,
or
say
clean,
it's in
cleaning,
there.
yeah.
Okay, say it is in there, and I work Monday through Sunday, so it's not like that I'm there all the time, I'm not. But just nonchalantly, I'm there, then what? Then what am I gonna say? Because I'm going to get the raft, nobody else, I'm getting that raft.
Like I said, I've been doing it I've been over there even with my grandmother when I was probably about 10 years old, and, we're talking, 50-plus years here, and I've never had anyone ever say a word to me, and I've been doing it for years and years and years, and still doing it, and like I said, never had a problem. And hopefully I'm not gonna fall down, but, who knows, I'm getting older.
Aren't we all? Don't think yourself.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't mind working with you and get prices for signage on the active ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Try to do what we can do, because even Chris Moore will tell you that without signage, you don't really have any teeth, so.
But even say
Yeah.
if we do have the signage, because I might as well get this out in the open now. So if we do get signage, okay, and it does say no recreation, and then I do see that while I'm there, then what?
Call the police.
I would call the police.
Call the
Oh,
police.
please.
Don't even approach him.
Don't approach him.
Yeah.
Let him continue golfing.
And you're right,
Right.
so,
Call the police, yeah.
Yeah, and at the bottom of the sign, you can just say, for more information, visit
Yeah.
www, and have
We
this
can put that
somewhere,
up.
a link to
We
this.
can put that up.
Yeah,
we can
on
put
the
it
bottom
up.
of the sign. That way
Yep.
there, the whole disclosure is there, but the highlights of no recreation, clean up
So-
after your dog, etc. is on the sign.
I have a laminator at home, so obviously this is going to get changed sometime, but not that, obviously not tonight. But I can laminate a few of these and put them on the plots, is that possible? Because they're.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother.
Because
I'd just
that's
wait.
another
You'll
piece
have
that'll
a-
blow away, probably.
More for
Yeah.
your mower to get.
Yeah, I would just, wait till we have.
Nate's
Well,
shaking
Mo-
his head. He's gonna fix them.
More mouths for the mower.
Yeah, okay. No, I think we can work together on it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Connie.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Connie.
you, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you.
And then the silent partner in the back.
That'll always be one time.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Thank you, Bill.
You want to send in the
That's
Chief
okay.
Vizina if he's out there?
Or Beth, one of the two.
Oh,
No.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, or Beth.
Or Beth? One of the two.
Yeah.
They're not there.
Chief Vizina, is he here yet? Okay.
Chief is in this
You
here.
had stated that I was on at 7.
Well, I told you to be here at 7. We have 3 other people.
We have
that-
3 other people ahead of you.
I have a
7.
young couple here that want to testify.
Well, you just have to take it in order. We've already got a schedule.
Who's that from?
That's the letter that he got.
Oh, 10-4. All right. So Vizina's not here.
He's not here yet?
So,
All right. Oh,
No, we'll take you.
yeah.
It's the same thing that you forwarded.
Is
I
it?
can copy it for you guys.
Yeah, I sent it to Ricky. I couldn't get it.
Well, no, I
to go
can
to-
copy and send it all to you.
Couldn't get to John or Sherry. I couldn't, I don't know
Well,
why.
Mr. Bossy's here for,
Which one was that?
for Bob Vizina, so
Yeah,
Which one's this?
that's the one you just read my email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get it.
I just sent it to you, so.
Hang on, John, we're just waiting for
I
Chief
still haven't got it
Vizina.
Yeah.
You sent it to R or F?
You.
Are you sending it to R or F Hippler?
No, it was T. Fred, F. Hitler.
Did you send it to Dad?
No, I didn't send it to Tim. Then again, maybe I did. Maybe he got it. Jesus, I got them both in there. And yeah, if he's watching, we did get the flag squared away.
you've got my email though, don't you,
Oh,
Jack?
there he is.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to come up.
Bob, you want to
You're
take
up,
the podium,
Chief.
please? But before you do that, Lee, do you want the podium first?
You just told me to come up.
Huh?
You just told me to come up.
Why don't you have a seat? Go ahead, Lee, if you want to just tell them what you're here for, yeah.
Yep.
Can I get you up here? Me? Yeah,
Go ahead.
on behalf of. Oh, did I win the,
Almost.
who's the picture?
Can I get one of your technical people to take a picture?
He's at the better angle. He can take it.
Anybody's
Yeah,
better
you want to
than
just,
me.
you want to
Yeah.
just go to the microphone and tell what you're doing?
Oh, okay.
Everybody what you're doing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. On behalf of the messenger and our advertisers, I wanted to present the chief with gift certificates to Yanni's Pizza for each of the members of the fire rescue squad, just as a small token of appreciation for all you do in good times and particularly during this pandemic. So,
Oh, well, thank you very much.
There you go.
Oh,
Get every
hold
look. You got it?
do the other way.
Oh,
Got it.
I
okay.
gotta give photo credit?
Photo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hey, well deserved.
Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
You still want me up here?
Yes.
Yes. I
Okay.
don't have any more awards for
You're
you,
up
but-
about the building. The discussion on the building inspector.
Yes.
So, I'll start. So, at the May 4th meeting, you had asked me to bring him back because we talked about.
talked about it about-
way back in the restructuring, back when we
back
did
about
it
a
in
year ago.
April.
Yeah.
No, about a year ago, yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about maybe, I think Bob sat down with us and we talked about possibly, one avenue was that maybe the inspector could be part of the fireside. And we did hire a full-time land use And then the inspector could maybe be part of a plan, a stepped approach plan to have all the inspections go with the fire department. So that's where I reached out to Bob to come here. We've had a few discussions. As you know, Merrimack is a little bit bigger than us. The fire's under there, inspectors under the fire side. We wanted to have the opportunity to go to, Bob led us to Loudon. Loudon's more our size.
Sure. London.
Loudon does that, same type of an arrangement, but we couldn't get in before coming here, so we're going next week. But if you want to continue from that.
Yeah, so this all started, again, with the reorganization, and I don't even know if we were approved for any full-time people at the time.
I don't like that.
But kind of looking at the 10,000 foot view where, we had hoped, or we still hope to get to a number of full-time employees, 8 being, what we were talking about then and still today. And so the people in the fire department are very dual role or 3 roles in what they provide for services, if you will. So there's fire, EMS, inspections is something that is inherent in the fire department because of the state fire code. And I'd seen other communities do this, and we had discussed it in my previous job of bringing code, well, I say code enforcement, but really looking at that inspectional piece underneath the fire department. So it's kind of all in one shop, and that we could have people who were ideally cross-train and kind of create that, you have your primary person perhaps that does electrical, but you have someone else that can help fill in fill in on that as well. Mechanical, all the statutory stuff that we do through the fire department anyways. And so could you develop perhaps maybe a more robust inspectional group, because you might have multiple people participating in that, but also as a way to offset, even if slightly, the cost of those 8 people as we get built out. That was a concept back a year and a half ago.
When Chip left a year ago, so.
I think in the reorganization, Kyle's done a great job, but I think it just goes to show that you could have an inspector that's really all that they did were inspections, and whether that person was here under building or here or over in our shop, I think that person could be anywhere in the system. I was just looking at it from a point of view of that there's a cost involved with that person, and if we could get more out of them than just inspections, or we could get someone more out of our people who may be fire and EMS, but we can also use them in that inspectional role because we do inspections already. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. The logistics of it all, I think that's where the trip to Loudon comes in to see how it functions over there.
I know there's several towns that do. The
Yeah.
fire department does have a big role in doing the inspections, because I've had to deal with some of them in my other business, but.
Yeah. And so I think
You're already doing it anyway. Some of it, you're doing all the.
well, we're doing some of it.
Life safety
It
and,
will take
stuff.
some effort to get tooled up. If there was something that we wish to pursue, and I know we're not at that decision point tonight, that there is a period of time to get either identify the person or persons who we might use, or also train in-house people to accomplish that. And I think when we spoke, this is, if we head that way, this is a budget 21 kind of focus, which pushes it out to April. Whether or not that person's full-time from the get-go or is part-time, that later becomes a full-time piece. We talked about whether that person should be, we've been fortunate to be able to hire in pairs. So if this person was an odd number person, In this particular, where we are currently today, that person would be like number 5, and eventually would drop into that number 8 slot when we get out that far. There's many different things. It was just something that came back up because we found ourselves in the same position we were in when Chip left.
What's your personal feeling as far as going forward with something like this? How do you feel about it? Do you think it's worthwhile for the fire department to pursue it?
I think it's worthwhile to certainly go down the road of looking at it and seeing if it's something that's viable. Obviously, it's going to create some work and some effort, but I think you're going to have that, whether that person's here or that person's over in our shop, to go out and find someone that can do that. It's I certainly see that it's something that would certainly benefit us to do that. And certainly the town as well. I mean, I'm not looking at it selfishly, I'm just looking at it from, if you're gonna spend X amount of dollars, what are you gonna get for that X amount of dollars?
I guess what Bob and I talked about today is we'd like to know what you want to do, because we can go look at Loud and we can put some plans together, but if you decide you want to back out, I guess we'd like to know, I mean, I think you brought it up as to, let's talk about it again. Are you leaning for us to go in that direction? Because I don't want to funnel our energy in one direction and then have to take a sharp right.
I think it's well worth looking at. I mean, I'm, like I said, in my other career, I'm looking at, I deal a lot of times with the fire department, so they have to do inspections. They have to come and do inspection. I have to get pull a permit from them. And then the ultimate, if I don't pull it from them directly, I pull it from a town, in their office. But the fire department is the ultimate one that has to be notified or come and take a look. And like I said, Merrimack's one, Londonderry is one. I forget, there's a bunch of them, Derry. I mean, I've had to
Right,
deal.
so the bigger ones do it.
And I mean,
Merrimack-
even some of the small ones, Chester, over.
There had always been over in my previous place was, that always searching for that one-stop shopping.
Yep.
And, which is very difficult.
It is. And I know that Concord went to the city hall to get stuff, and then I had to go to the fire department after that.
And when I had done some inspections over there, through a couple different programs that they had in place. And so you're pulling your permits in one location. That might not be the person that's going out to, certainly that person for fire wasn't going out of there. They were coming out of the prevention division.
I think Milford was the other one I went to that also does the one-stop. They did it, you go to the fire department, did everything right there, and then paid the fee, and that was it, done,
So,
and they
I think it's worth, I think it's worth looking at. We can come back and, are you meeting in 2 weeks? I'm not sure.
I would agree. Yeah.
I would agree,
I think
yeah.
it's worth looking
I think
into.
it's
Come
well,
back after
I think
seeing
it's well
Loud.
worth looking at, and look at, like I said, look at Loudon and see. I think, the more information we have, the better.
Yeah, I strongly believe in the process. I
know.
think it's protection for the, the homeowner, the person that's paying the money for the work getting done. I think it's good for the community. It certainly reduces risk and incidents that we respond to.
I said, you're already doing some of them anyway, so, when it comes to certain installations, so.
And so it's kind of, building that system that already exists, augmenting that.
Yeah.
So that's it on that.
So could I ask a question, Chief? What do you inspect now? I know you do chimneys, but beyond that, what are you doing?
So I do, if the state of New Hampshire license it, like foster care, adult placement, places of assembly, feel free to jump in. What else we get permits for? Anything, if it makes heat or burns a fuel,
furnace?
I'm probably looking at that. So oil, gas, heaters, anything to do with those.
And you're
those fuels.
certified to do this
Yeah.
currently,
Well,
right?
I'm certified through, like, I have my fire inspector too, and then you keep abreast of what you're looking
Changes
for and
occur.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some of it's mandated by state law.
Anything like the storage of those those fuels, so oil tanks, gas tanks. We're not too involved in the service stations, but when they pull those tanks and stuff, we're involved in that. When they just did that down at the old Ford garage. We do commercial kitchens. I spend a lot of time on the road. And so this would, in some ways, this would help me out and free up some of my time where instead of doing maybe 5 inspections in a day, maybe I'm not doing any, or maybe I'm doing 1, and I can focus more on the administrative piece of the fire department that there's a ton of work to do there as well.
So if we went that way, and whoever this person is would be under you at some point, right? Would report to you. And whoever this person is that's going out and gonna do a full inspection as a house is being built, they would also have to go to school and be certified, correct?
Right, and so when Kelly and I spoke about it, I think there's a couple different tracks. The NFPA does one with some, with kind of a code certification piece. But I think the one that's probably better suited is the ICC does a residential inspector where they hit all the disciplines. And then eventually, commercial is always going to be, it's even an issue now. Commercial is a whole different animal than residential and requires much more work on my end. We had a lot of commercial work last year and the year before that. It just consumes a lot of time.
Well, anything, John? You there, John? Okay.
Yeah, he's there. He's listening along.
Is it right here?
No, the other John.
So we can come back in a couple weeks and
Sounds
Okay,
good.
let you
sounds
know what we
good.
find out.
Okay, Chief.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
And the finance administrator is next on the list.
I'm going to be quick. We are looking at a deadline for gopher reimbursement requests from the state of New Hampshire. There's going to be 3 this year. It's March and April reimbursement request. There's going to be a May and June reimbursement request. And there's going to be a July and August reimbursement request. Unfortunately, the gopher agreement has to be in by June 1st, and this is your last meeting prior to that day. I'd like to go through FEMA to get reimbursement requests, but right now there's still a 75-25 match. So I'm not going to submit to gopher until the last day. But gopher is a 100% reimbursement request. But again, I'd like to go through FEMA first, but unless they stay at 75, we're going to go for gopher. So right now, for March and April, our reimbursement request is about $16,000. It's mostly due to overtime, some expenditures, building modifications, protective equipment, disinfection is a huge part of that. So the reason I'm here tonight is either to have you sign the gopher grant agreement or assign me as the designated signing authority. So the Board of Selectmen can do it. Takes 3 signatures, and then the chair would have to initial every page. Or you can just write my name in the book. I'll keep you
let's
abreast on whether we go for gopher or FEMA. All right? I don't want to do anything without your permission, so.
I think to make it expedient is to make the finance administrator the one, because she'll be getting the paperwork,
Right. I agree with that.
so she can sign it. And I would give her the authority to do that.
So moved.
So moved?
But I will ask you prior to me sending the information on the 29th,
Yep.
if you want to go for this gopher.
Go, yes, I would
Okay.
say. If it's
If
gonna
FEMA
give us
says
the
we're going to do
other,
100%, then,
that's different, yeah.
yeah, we're going to hold off.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded, and.
Well, wait, you have to say what you, because
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
tough
it's
for,
gonna be,
it's tough for the minute taker to figure out what.
Go for it's for the Coronavirus Relief Fund Grant Agreement, according to what was just said by the Finance Administrator, and for reimbursement to the town. The grant total is not to exceed $210,673.
Too bad.
I know.
That's why I'd like to go with FEMA.
Yeah,
But
and that, at this point, is 100% reimbursement, whereas FEMA's only 75%. So,
And we appoint the finance administrator to be the signee.
yes, and that was moved and seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous, so
You can have it
you
back.
can sign an initial of it, and I won't get writer's cramp tonight. Thank you, Beth.
Benji?
DPW Director is next.
And we gotta clear the room,
Boy,
the next crowd.
how many people are here?
10 people.
Well, there's only, what, 2 or 3 out there?
So I'm here tonight to request you to authorize me to purchase a message board, electronic message board.
Like the one down at Twin Bridge.
That one, actually.
I drove by that, I was like, that's pretty fancy.
It is, and you know, we've talked about them for years, always thought it's something nice for the highway department to have. We've never, ever even tried one until I did the intersection on Riverdale. So I rented that one for 2 months. It was the only one we could find, and with research being done, it was the cheapest rental, although it was the only one we could find. But if other people had them, they would have been more money. And we've had good feedback from it. Every week I've chosen a big project that would have really altered traffic flow and put it up 5 to 7 days in advance, and people have been appreciative. We haven't had any troubles. You know, culvert replacements, that intersection, Twin Bridge, we're doing a big culvert replacement. The next week I'm gonna do another big one down there. We just did one on Bart Clough, and we had 2 phone calls just asking what times the road was gonna be closed, and one lady brought us drinks and snacks, just was appreciative. We let her know, you know, because we all leave 30 seconds before we need to be somewhere, and it's aggravating when you get stuck and you didn't know it was coming. So anyway, we're renting that one for $650 a month, and with all this reimbursement going on, I believe if we use it to notify the public in some form of COVID information, we might be able to get some help on it. So it's kind of what triggered the thought of purchasing it rather than renting it all summer.
What would the purchase price be if you purchased it?
Yeah, so I got numbers here for you. The one that I'm asking to rent, the one that we are, asking to purchase the one that we are renting. We're the 3rd person to rent that one, so it's brand new. The rental company said out of all the brands, they're the best one. So it's not coming from the company that makes it, it's coming from someone that purchases them. It's all solar. It's not 8 or 9 feet wide like the one see on 93. It's a little smaller, fits our shoulders better. So I got 3 prices. The one I'm looking to buy is $11,900. Obviously, our rental fee would be waived. No delivery because we have it. I have one for $16,750 plus $600 shipping, and another one for $17,578 plus $600 shipping. So I didn't print out the normal page I usually do for you guys, but I was on the road all week, and Joe made these out for me. You'll see some other numbers on some back pages. Ignore them. Just read the front pages of these. That's the one I'm proposing. Those are 2 other likes.
How big's that, the signboard, 4x6?
The exact, I think it's 6 feet wide.
6 feet wide?
It has, even the big ones, they have 3 lines.
3, right.
This one just is fewer characters per line.
Width.
But I think you can put up to 8 messages on it.
Yeah.
I try to stick with 3 because when you're driving, you have to stop
Yeah.
to read 8 of them.
Short and simple, right?
Right, short and simple. Road closed this date.
Yeah.
Seek alternate route. Kind of what we
Don't come this way.
Right, exactly. You know, we would use it for a number of things, not just a few road jobs in the summer. We'd use it for hazardous waste day at transfer station. If you guys want to borrow it for Old Home Day, you know, something like that, the parade. You know, it'd be something that the town, I think, could use.
Multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose. Notify the public of any changes of COVID if, you know, something flares up again.
This one's got tires on it. That one down there.
Yeah, well, I take them off so people don't steal them.
I knew that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I brought it too.
You, okay. I didn't know if you had it.
Did they? Yeah.
Was it a few years ago, somebody stole the ones the police had that had the speed limit on it? That one, in a lot of places, those took a lot of rides, you know.
I did.
They'd end up in out someplace
Now,
or
is that,
drag strip.
is that one programmable right there at site, or do you have to
Yeah.
have some kind of a,
No, right on site. It's got a keyboard.
this
on
one
it.
looks like it's got like some kind of a, oh, it's got keyboard.
Some are pretty fancy, so you can program them at the office. That's one of the ones DOT has, I think.
Yeah, yeah, they've got some that are like that, some that aren't.
I got a
some
few
that aren't.
guys that are on it. Lee, my in-house IT guy, he knows all about it. Scotty, he went pick it up. He knows all about it. So. I actually haven't had nothing to do with it. I tell them what I want it to say, and the program looks good to me. So
There you
I
go.
probably couldn't open the box on it, to be honest with you.
As long as it's blinking a message, you're good,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
As long as it says what I want it to say.
Just make sure you leave the keyboard locked so somebody doesn't get into it and start changing the messages. That's been done before too.
Yeah.
You want these back, Ben?
Yeah. Well, like I say, I do think we're gonna get some help on it. That's the thought. I would like to buy it out of road reconstruction for that purpose. If they do help, the money can go back into that account. Whereas what comes out of the budget, that might be more of a tricky situation.
Yep.
If it came out of road reconstruction and government gave us some money back, we could just put it back into that account.
Did you get all that, John?
Yeah, I'm just waiting on some pictures.
Can I have the quotes back?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sending them
So
pictures of the quotes.
It's a Wanco model WVTMM Metro.
Yeah. They make a lot of them.
Who's gonna be the repair agent if we have any problems with this?
Probably the dealer, ATS, is the one you were looking at. So
I'd have
that's
to
the
look
lowest
into
one.
who services them, I don't know.
How much of a warranty is on it, did they say?
No, they didn't.
See if it says anything.
It's coming from the rental shops, right?
Yeah, from ATS, the rental shop. That's where you're renting it from.
The only people that had one, and then Joe ended up having a pretty good relationship with the salesman when we were renting it, because I needed it faster than he thought he could provide it, and anyway, he got it to us in a timely fashion, and so he called him back and done some discussing with him. And he highly recommended this brand. He said that's the type we buy. So. I don't know nothing about them. So. That's the type that they choose to purchase, then
You got the pictures.
Did you get the pictures?
So it's the smaller of the three, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And Ben, how long are you gonna have this, like 4 months?
No, forever.
If we
No,
buy
no,
it,
no,
it's forever.
well, you're renting it if you.
I'm gonna rent it for the summer.
For
if
the whole
not,
summer.
yeah.
So say 4 months.
So that would pay about a quarter of it anyway, just in rental fees.
Yeah.
It's worked so well that I'm gonna keep it for the summer, and it was so hard to get that I'm not gonna let it go back. So. I couldn't believe it, because I thought we'd just go rent one, so the week before the Riverdale project, I called up, or Joe called up, and it wasn't the case. We had to try a little extra hard.
Did you get all the pictures, John?
Yep, I got them.
Okay. What's the thoughts from the board?
I think it'd be well worth it.
Rick?
I like the idea. I mean, like I just said, it's kind of the first time we've used it and gotten positive feedback on it, so.
Well, it's got a
Multi-use. too.
multi-use. I mean, there's a lot of towns that have them. I mean.
Oh, absolutely. No, I get, yeah, absolutely. There's multiple ways we could use it,
I mean,
so.
they use it.
Right.
You know, some of them are, even some of the police departments have their own that they put out for messages for stuff, so.
Right. I know there might be a little bit of offset help from the COVID funds, but,
Yep.
like I said, I support the idea. I just don't know if this is the right time to buy it, that's all.
What about you, Sherry?
I think you're gonna get a quarter of it, you're gonna pay for a quarter of it up front anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's kinda crazy, and if you're gonna have maybe some kickback from, you know, because.
That's why I chose this time. Otherwise, I'd have waited at the end of the year and see if I had money in some other line.
Because it
I
could
thought
be,
this was the right time because we might get some kickback. We won't in December. I mean, I hope we're over this. So that's why I chose this time. Otherwise, I just would rent it and we'd see at the end of the year if I had money somewhere else.
Yeah.
but in between jobs, it could be set right up here in the center somewhere, and.
With
puts
COVID
the
information.
COVID information on it, or when the schools are gonna open, or whatever, I mean, I don't think we have that anywhere else in
Yeah, or
town,
public
so.
safety message for the,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
for the bus companies or whatever, yeah.
Look good propped up in the lawn down there.
The finance committee's, finance chairman is still there, or administrator. Do you have any input as to whether or not there's possibility of money coming back on something like that?
Yeah, because I think we're gonna use it not just for the purpose that Benji needs it right now. I
Yeah.
mean, he needs it for a couple months out of the year possibly. I think the town can use it year round.
And this, you don't know if there's Gophers money or FEMA money that he can get back
It's a
on that?
good way for us to get information out to the residents.
No, I
We
don't
have to
disagree with that.
move it
Yeah.
around town. It's not just in the center of town. We can move it to an area that doesn't come to the center of town normally.
Yeah,
And you say you can get, what, 8 slides on it,
yeah,
you
you can
said?
put it over.
8
Thought
message
that's what
slides?
Lee
67 before you
said,
hit the
yeah.
bottom line.
Yeah, I tried to
So-
stick to 3, but.
Yeah, I mean,
Lee
3's
said
enough, but yeah,
Yeah.
but you can
There's
get 8
3
on.
lines per slide.
Yeah, so you can get it to rotate a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, and you could have that over, Beth just mentioned it, you could have it at the transfer station, so if you wanted to get information out, a lot of people
good
go to
place
that
there,
transfer
yeah.
station. So I think it's a good thing, really.
And home base is only across the street, so.
Yeah, there you go.
We can
May
put it at
not-
the beginning
may
of the
not.
road too.
Right.
It may not be travel like George Washington, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, my feelings is if you think we can get the money back from either FEMA or Gophers, then
Hoping.
now's the time to probably do it. And, use it for highway and for the town, so I'm all in favor of going ahead and getting it.
Van?
Yeah, John, how about you?
I like the idea of it. I think it has a lot of possibilities. I'm only concerned with the fact that we are on a default budget. Where would this money come from in the meantime? I don't want
You didn't hear it.
Road reconstruction.
Road reconstruction money.
Okay, not the
Bond.
$2.5 million.
No, not the
No, no,
bond,
no.
it can't come out of that,
The-
no.
The 500 road reconstruction.
500,000 for the road reconstruction.
Which is where the rental's coming out right now anyways
Yeah.
from, right?
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's all I had.
and then if there's
the
reimbursement,
money
it goes
could be
back
put-
into that fund.
Right.
Can the reimbursement money go back into that fund?
Yes,
Can we verify that with Beth?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She said yes,
Okay, thank you.
so,
I'll make a motion
Can
that,
we be reimbursed at 100% from FEMA or Gopher?
yeah,
We don't
Go
know.
for it, be 100%.
yeah. Gopher would be 100%, we're not sure about FEMA, they're only paying up to 75 right now.
Okay, and would
But
it
that
be
may change.
prorated based on the use?
I don't
No.
think so.
No, it's purchase price.
Purchase price.
Okay. All right, then I'd support it.
John, you started to say something?
I'll make a motion that we allow Benji to purchase the rental electronic signboard for $11,900 with the money coming out of the road reconstruction fund.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yep, okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Bev. And, you gonna be around later? I gotta give you a call on something. Ben?
No, actually, I'm asking him to hang around.
Oh, he's gonna hang around? Okay.
We're gonna address something at the end of the evening.
Okay. And the next one would be Maureen.
Right, we got 9 in here, you
Like I
only
said, we
allow
gotta
one.
observe the 10,
You only have one at a time. I know
One
there's
at a
people
time.
out there to
Yep,
speak.
one
so.
at a time.
unless
You're up.
a couple of them are leaving.
Okay.
3 of them are going the hallway.
3 of them are going in the hallway, so you can bring yourself and 2 others. Just yourself and 2 others.
Did you vote 500?
500.
Okay. There's 3.
My mask. Okay. Hi, Maureen Billiter, Town Clerk. I'm here to ask you to rescind your letters to the governor and the Secretary of State's office. A little history prior to COVID-19. Marriage licenses had no appointments were necessary. And we've had a request before to have a wedding in this conference room. And if we could accommodate them, we did. Because of COVID-19, appointments are necessary because there's not a transaction that can be performed online. The Secretary of State's office states that they do believe that the right to get married needs to be honored and access to marriage licenses are by qualified individuals preserved. So on April 27th, I had this young couple come in. They were scheduled for a marriage license. At the time of their appointment, it was cold and rainy outside. They arrived with their parents, and they were dressed. I saw them when they got out of their vehicles. I ran downstairs because the door is locked. I let them in and explained that they were only here for a marriage license. I asked the parents to go back to the car. We finished the license, and it was quick, so I had enough time for the next appointment to accommodate them. They asked if their parents could come in. It was only a 3-line wedding. It took about 5 minutes. The parents were all masked, so was the bride and groom. I have a picture of the wedding. So I stood my distance, I married them, and when they left, I Lysoled the room.
See the picture?
And used the wipes on the doorknobs. So I did not violate the governor's orders. There was only 7 of us, including me, here.
How many, there was more than 10 people in this building at that point.
On this floor?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you had others over in the other office. You had Pam, Kelly, Wendy.
No, Wendy wasn't.
No,
Wendy
Wendy
wasn't
was not
But
here.
the other issue with this, Maureen, is that the building is closed, period. Only by appointment for you to come in and necessary items, not to perform weddings. The
Well-
building, by the order of the board, the building was closed to have people come in here.
Well, I was
And
told,
at that, there's other people being put,
but there wasn't, between 7 of us,
It's-
Jane, 8, 9, 10.
10.
Total.
And then you had 2 upstairs. If they came downstairs, you're in violation of the order. But we had an order, the selectmen declared that this building was closed to having the public come in. There's nothing that said you couldn't perform the wedding outside or at the gazebo or at another venue.
We would have done that had it not been pouring
And the thing
rain.
is that this was, it wasn't necessary that the wedding was performed. It was necessary town functions is what we opened it up to. Getting a license, yes, I can see. But was it necessary for you to perform the wedding? No.
But I
At this building that's being closed. That's the crux to this matter, is the building was closed to the public coming in and conducting regular business.
Now, I was told that I could perform services as long as they had an appointment and it was something that
was-
could not be done.
The
alone.
service was to come in and get a license, but the service to act as a JP and perform a wedding ceremony, is that a necessary town service? No. There's plenty of JPs around that can marry somebody.
And I understand that.
So, but the building, the bottom line of it was the building was closed.
But you would be violating your own order right now.
We
You
don't have 10 people, we have 10 people out there. They went out in the other room.
But
They're
that's
not
the
in
same-
here.
That's the same thing.
Pardon me. If you want to speak, you can come up here, but at this point, we're speaking to one person at the podium. We can't have people talking out of the crowd. The thing is that you were given a specific set of rules, and it was not to have people in here. No, and that, the building was posted, and that was posted by the Board of Selectmen.
And when discussing with Naomi, it was that the services would still be provided. It's even stated in your March 30th minutes, because I went through everything, everything I had received. There was nothing stating what we could and could not do. It said in your March 30th minutes that as a whole, the town of Ware and its department heads have plans in place. We did have plans in place, still providing services.
We're providing necessary services, but the building was closed. We locked the door, they came in by appointment or had to call
We did
ahead.
have
They had
appointments.
to call ahead and come in. But having a wedding performed in here is not a necessary town service.
But I have nothing in from you stating that what was
I
necessary.
believe that was posted, right? That we have only for necessary business.
When you talked about essential, non-essential, I don't remember what
Yeah.
night that was.
Yeah.
I probably emailed or text, because the essential at that point was me, Beth, Maureen, and everybody was out of here for like 2 weeks,
Yep.
except for the essentials.
Well, no, I had called Jane in on Friday with your
Right.
permission.
Right, but
That was-
essentials, because you were overwhelmed with the emails.
And the
And
people,
everybody
the
with the
appointments.
online. No, we weren't doing appointments at that time.
I was still doing appointments from day one.
Well, I guess I thought when you invited Jane back in, it was more for the mail, the email, and the,
Well, she was working on the mail. That's why I needed her to work on
I
the
mean-
email and the emails. But I'm running up and down the stairs. And the phone's ringing, and people are calling for appointments.
Mhm.
You know, I'm only one person.
right.
So we had discussed me working the 5 days because we were getting 20 pages of online a day of motor vehicles and all kind, dog licenses. So it took quite a while to process all of these things, to keep up with it. I mean, we did the same amount of money. Beth just told me we were over $8,000 from the same time last year. We're over this year. And we're only on a part-time basis and trying to cram everything in. So it gets a little crazy here.
I mean, you're on a part-time, it doesn't, your hours are your hours. You could set the hours whatever you want to work. You could have worked all day. There's nothing that says that you
And I
left there at
did, and
noontime.
I wasn't always leaving here
But
at
I'm just saying, there
noontime.
was nothing that said you could leave at noontime, and nothing said you could stay here till 6 o'clock at night. That's
But we
your
had-
hours are set by you.
But the bank is only open till 4 o'clock every day. So Jane is a part-time, well, she was with part-time hours like everybody else in the building.
Right, I mean,
And then
that's
you had-
correct.
That's
Yeah, we
correct.
had, we had
But at the same
discussed all
time,
this.
she could work a full day and stagger it like the girls do now. Like I do Tuesday, Thursday, we do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to stagger, but they're here all day.
Right, but we have, with the banks closing at 4 o'clock, we had discussed this, that it was better for me to be here 5 days a week because of having all of those online registrations. I have appointments, we're booked every 15 minutes, and if we have a problem, then we're behind schedule with these people, and they're waiting outside until I can get to them.
Well, I guess I don't know where we've known the building's been locked.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that no one else is making an appointment. I mean, I shouldn't say one person came in today for a notary, but as the most part, I've been telling them no.
Well, I can't tell them no, they're new vehicles, how am I supposed to?
I'm just saying that, so we all knew the door was locked. We've all known the door's been locked. So there's no public access,
Right.
basically. Other than, you letting them in every 15, 20 minutes, half an hour.
Let me ask you this question. When was the decision that you were going to perform the marriage ceremony? Was it then, or was it prior?
It was,
Was it prior by appointment? Or
No.
was it the day they came in for the license?
when they came in for the license, and when I noticed they were all dressed up, and, that they had thought they were being married at the same time, I ran down and I explained to them I couldn't. But because, just like in the past, if you can accommodate, you would.
But these are different times. And
I know.
and you explained at the beginning that no, you couldn't, and then you changed your
But,
mind.
well, because I thought, the reason I told them I couldn't do it is because I had an appointment scheduled. But they were done in record time. There was plenty of time to do it. I said, there's only 3 lines.
It wasn't the fact that, people were coming into the building that you said no, it's just that your time. Is Is that what you're saying?
Right,
Okay. Okay.
because we had to accommodate the people coming, you know, that had
I understand you have
appointments.
to accommodate to give them the license. I don't have an issue with that. And I don't, and there's no issue with that I see. But the issue is that, we were pretty specific about keeping the building closed. Come in for your appointments, to get your registration, or whatever you had to do. But to turn around and then go beyond that to perform the ceremony, that's still,
But like I said, I was never told that what I could and could not do, because I have people that have come in and want to register to vote. By law, they're allowed to register. I mean, we're working on having online registrations, but it's not in place yet. So,
Can I speak to this a little bit? Just that we signed a letter a couple of weeks ago about this, and I think in that letter, we talked about 15 people being in the building.
that's what was originally
And-
relayed to us, was 12 to 15 people
Right,
being in the building.
and more than 10, and that's not even close. We're talking six
Seven,
people.
8, counting Jane here.
no,
So-
but
I mean, in this
But
room,
not- but
in
not
this room,
Yeah, not in this room.
7 people.
But the thing is still, like I said, whether it be 5 or whether it be, the governor says 10.
I know.
What we set was the building was closed.
Right.
So, I mean, there's part of the crux in the issue right there.
That's part of it, but the other part of it is that we signed a letter, and there's really wrong information in the letter, and now that's gone to the
Well,
governor, and
that's
I
right.
don't
Well,
think
we
that's
can-
Ask them
correct.
to rescind that, which
We
we
can,
can
re-
do.
we
Right,
can
I think we
rescind
need to
it
do
and
that.
change it, but
Yeah.
still, the violation was that violated our ruling that the building was closed.
But I don't have anything. I went through all the minutes.
Well,
I
there was
mean,
a sign at the door, said stop, the building's closed.
Right.
For regular business, and somehow that magically disappeared from the front door.
Back door doesn't even have one anymore.
And then the
either.
back doors disappeared. Where that went, I have no idea, but
No, public notice effective immediately. Was that on the front door? I don't even remember.
It's still on the front door.
yeah, that's
Okay.
another one we put out there.
Right, but it doesn't say anything. It says the town office is open for business, but closed for public visitation.
That's right.
Meaning that people just cannot walk in.
But you gotta finish reading all the way down, which no one ever does.
Yeah,
You gotta get to the bottom to tell you that if you need the town, for this, this, and this, you call the town clerk for, it gave the services you provide, for what our office provides, for what the building department provides, for the other things. It told you who to call, or email on the bottom of that letter.
Right.
And that's
then-
still that's still,
And
I
then that's
didn't-
what they did. They called.
that's correct. So it does say that, stop, we're closed for visitation.
Right, and that's, I mean, I have people, we have the window open, we're talking to them all the time. Is it a renewal? Yes, then you have to do it by mail, do it online, put it in the black box, and I'll pick it up. I do not let them come in. But we processed in the first 3 weeks, there was over 100 new vehicles processed.
Yeah, but
I mean-
Maureen, you're getting off base here,
Yeah.
like going all back to registrations.
Registration.
This is about
I
a
mean,
wedding.
this is.
Nothing to do with your registration. And I agree with Jack, this building was closed. You should not have performed that wedding. I agree with it.
Well, you could, but you have
You
not.
did your necessary part, which I agree with.
Yeah.
You gave them a license. But to do above and beyond, to perform that ceremony was above and beyond what your necessary role was as the town clerk. Nothing said you had to perform that wedding.
But
You
nothing-
opted to do that.
Nothing said that I didn't,
But
I
it
could
says
not.
no visitation. You brought public in here that their business was done when they got the license.
And they were all masked, including the
That's not the
family
issue.
members.
I mean, whether they were masked or otherwise. That wasn't the issue.
But
There was
how
nothing,
can-
no rule that said they had to be masked. We just said there was nobody.
Right, but I mean, I even felt better about that because as an employee here, I had a mask on, gloves on, and, we're taking every precaution we can, so I would, it's not me to go out of my way to intentionally violate anything.
Well,
And that-
I'm not saying that, but this was to us, it was a serious infraction, that, we had closed the building, and then this is going on, and we had employees that complained about it. So we have to look into it, and this is what, we closed the building, and
Yes, and
there's a wedding being conducted in here, and you're going like, what?
But it was, and it was looked into the day after that this was performed. And I told how many were here.
No, I had to approach you the next morning and say, it's my, no.
Right, I
You
said it
didn't
would
tell
look.
me how many, because I said,
And
did
when
I
I-
hear right, that you had a wedding yesterday afternoon?
I have Jane in the next room. She can testify that you came in. I didn't want to get into this, Naomi.
I'm not
because-
going to.
No.
I
It's
spoke
really their
to you
order.
about it and turned around and you didn't say anything about the numbers. I said you had over 10 people in here for a wedding and you just said, I'm not talking to you about it and walked
No,
away.
you
And you were
told me
rude
I
about
had,
it.
oh, you were rude to me. You were yelling at me.
No, I didn't yell at you.
You were sitting next to the postage machine, and
And you
I
told
came
me
over-
I had to move.
I
Because
asked
of
you.
social distancing and I moved. You didn't
I-
ask, you told me.
No, I said, Jack,
There was two other people sitting there, and I'm not gonna get into that part, Maureen,
Yeah.
but the thing was, is then I said, well, it didn't seem to bother you with you having 10 people plus for a wedding in the other room, and you told me, you yelled at me that I am not discussing it, I'm not talking to you anymore about it or anybody else, and you stormed out of the room.
okay, but I could have, if you would like me to call Jane in, because she
Oh.
heard the conversation.
I
Because
can,
had said
you know,
to you-
I'm not gonna get into that. The bottom line of it is the building was closed, and you did something above and beyond what was necessary business for the town.
How can you violate something that you don't know that you're violating?
How many people have you let into this building without masks, or let them come in and go do other business up here in the town office? Go upstairs to somebody or somebody else? Has anybody done that down here?
So, I mean, you had Rad to put the letters away, that's about all.
We didn't, he just dropped the bag and left.
But I mean,
No, but we have had people come upstairs
walking
looking for
around,
you, not
looking
even.
for you.
Because the person that leaves lets them in and they got no clue where they're going.
Yeah.
So then they wander around the building aimlessly, touching everything, and we have to send them back downstairs.
you know, how many times you letting more people in and out than anybody else? I mean, has anybody sanitized the doors or anything else
We
like
have a
we've asked?
Clorox wipe
I
that.
mean, out the front door or any of the other doors
Just
coming
the
up?
door, I mean, I had to even stop and close my door because employees were coming in when I have a person there. I mean, you know, and I had asked about that, but.
And they
you know,
shouldn't be. That's
no,
correct, they shouldn't
shouldn't.
be. But, I'm just,
We take.
we
a
have
photo-
we have an ultimate responsibility, and that is to keep this building closed and safe for the employees that are here. And doing that violated what we put forth. And it's nothing against the couple. They came and get a license. You went above and beyond, but what was necessary, and had people in the building, which was not what the intent of us to do, was to have those people in here. We closed the building. Closed the building to regular coming people in.
Appointments only, that's what
That's
I
right.
was
But
told.
having the wedding, coming in to get the license, okay, had the appointment, but having the wedding, no, that was above and beyond outside of that.
So, even though it's a violation of something that.
That we
is
put
not-
forth.
But it's not specified what a person can and cannot do.
No, I think we were clear about it. It's not keeping people
Well, I haven't spoken to
I
any
mean,
of
what we
you.
could do, there's other towns, for instance, the town of Hopkinton, nobody gets in that office. They drop it in the box, they get the thing, and it either gets mailed to them, or they get notified to come and pick it up in the box outside.
And we
Nobody comes in.
discussed this, but we didn't have a big enough box for all that to happen.
Well, that's one. So we were liberal in letting come in by appointment. We could have put a box out there. We talked about it.
Right, and then Naomi and I discussed it. I've only spoken with her on Naomi as regarding what we were doing here. And we discussed the hours we put together.
So what are we gonna do about it?
So-
I mean, we could sit here all night and beat
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
to
we
death.
could.
Beth, and
We ain't gonna get
I think the
nowhere.
violation is there. We just amend the letter.
Well, wait,
Well,
I think yes, the violation to the building occurred,
Yep.
but the number that is provided
incorrect.
is correct by
Yeah,
by
incorrect that we wrote.
computer, right? So you could rescind
The letter.
the governor's
Notice.
order part,
Yep.
but it's still, I still think we do violate
Yep.
by people. I've seen people come in and out of this building, and, we can say we wipe the knobs down, but when somebody comes up the stairs and runs their hands up the rails, then we have to do it on our way out, which, but the other thing is, one letting the next one in, they grab the rail, nobody knows what they're doing.
And
They
half-
half come in with a mask, half don't. They're
Some
like,
of
I
them-
carry it, do you care? And I'm like, you need to put it on. But they're coming
we
up the
can't
stairs
tell.
grabbing the rail.
We have no orders to make people put a mask on when they come in the building.
So-
We might.
But
So-
we have nothing now in
I'm
place.
just gonna interject my 2 cents into this.
I wish you would.
We have a very innocent couple sitting here.
Right.
And, and we're
And it's
wasting,
not-
we're
wasting
wasting
their
their
time.
time.
Yeah, it's
All right,
nothing,
going back
it's
and
nothing to
forth.
do with them.
There's a few facts on the table here. One is our letter that we submitted to the governor is wrong.
It's correct.
So that,
We
needs to,
can-
that needs to be rescinded
And correct.
before
Yep.
before we end this conversation.
That's right.
Okay. Number 2 is, again, there's a lot of confusion going on with this COVID stuff.
Yep.
All right. And what's going on, what's considered essential and what's not. 3, I understand where we were at with the 10 number violating, but right now, the couple's the only one wearing masks.
Right.
So here we all are, and there's more out in the hallway.
Yep.
And we were counting apparently the entire floor and the entire building of employees. So follow on us for right now for doing what we're doing.
Yep.
Condition 4 here is, I think it's a big misunderstanding, and I'm going to move to rescind the letter entirely.
Thank you.
John?
Yes.
Jerry? John?
John?
Yes, vote to rescind.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
so done.
So you
What-
don't
wait,
need to
so,
vote?
so was that a motion? And
Yes.
you
That
went
was a
around the
motion to rescind
table
the
with no
letter
second,
entirely.
or what are we doing?
Yeah, John
I
seconded.
second it.
Yeah.
So our minutes get messed
I
up.
would say that,
Moving
don't do it
forward.
again.
Moving
I
forward,
won't.
let's not do it again.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen again.
No, I'm gonna sit down with Naomi to go over exactly
Again.
what needs to be done.
Great
You know,
idea.
what can do.
Excellent idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
The next one is minutes.
Five, four. He's back.
Minutes for the 4th and the 6th.
Yeah, go find him.
Wrong one. Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Satellites linking up in outer space.
Okay, for the
Ta-da, there we are.
4th. Da-da-da. So we're looking at the 4th of May for the minutes. Have you got yours, John? John Van?
Getting all looking at it.
Okay.
We good to start?
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Read us off.
Okay, on the 4th, page 1. Anybody have anything on page 1? Page 2?
Nope.
No. Page 3? All good?
Good on that one.
You still with us, John?
Yep, still here.
Okay, page 4.
Good.
Well, looks good to me.
Good to me.
Page 5.
Sounds good.
Page 6. And page 7.
Move to approve as written.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Should the minutes reflect the meeting we just had? Because this is about Maureen in here.
No, we can't.
No,
You
no.
know,
No,
back and
that's
forth.
what happened
All right,
at that time.
Yeah, that's what happened, so.
okay, just want to double check.
All right. 5, 6. is that what
Okay,
happened?
5, 6 is the next one.
Trying to get there.
There we go.
We're there.
5, 6. Page 1.
Yep, me by half a meeting, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I was playing phone tag last
That's
meeting.
right, until you walked in the door.
Right.
Okay, page 2. And page 3.
Move to approve is written.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay.
The ghost speaks again.
The ghost, yes. The ghost of Christmas present,
Yeah.
Christmas future. Okay. The next one is the manifest. This is to order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payable checks dated May 21st, 2020, as included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest for $57,510.94. That's the weekly payroll. First responder stipend manifest for $6,902.90. Accounts payable manifest for $335,124.37. John Stark accounts payable manifest for $86,600. Ware District accounts payable manifest for $300,000, for a total of $786,138.21. The following manifests were previously ordered signed at the May 4th Board of Selectmen's meeting. That was the payroll manifest for $58,588.60. That was the weekly payroll checks dated 5/14/2020. The first responder stipend manifest of $7,032.90. That was checks dated on 5/14/2020. Supplemental payroll manifest of $618. That was a check dated on 5/17/2020. And accounts payable manifest of $48,233.99. As there is no selectmen's meeting scheduled for Monday, May 25th, 2020, we order the treasurer to sign payroll checks dated May 28th, 2020, estimated to be about $70,000. Furthermore, to order the treasurer to sign up to the amount of $75,000 for accounts payable that cannot wait till the next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual checks amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion on the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Extension.
Abstention? Abstention and a no.
So it's at 3.
3-1-1.
Yeah, because we put it, I think that should have been warranty.
Huh?
I think that should have been warranty.
Okay.
Well, you have to do one more thing.
Yep.
You guys all got an email from Beth on Friday
Yep.
regarding the
Yes.
approval of the manifest. And in that approval, there was a supplement accounts payable for $37.50 that you asked me to void.
All right.
But when approving it in a fail swoop, as you know, that means you authorize the treasurer to sign it, so.
So we have to rescind that payment.
Rescind or void it.
Avoid it.
She asked you to make a motion in public authorizing her to void the check so that the treasurer and her have a record.
Okay. What is the check for?
It was $37.50 supplemental.
$37.50.
$3,750.
$3,750.
It was a
Okay.
supplemental
Okay.
on May 4th.
Make a motion to have the finance administrator void a check from May 4th for $3,750
From the supplemental.
for the
accounts payable.
supplemental accounts payable. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, done. Now it's the administrator's report.
Well, where do we want to start? I guess I will, May, you guys got one of these, I'll throw one in John's box. It's that time of year again for, Tebow's permit for the
Oh,
gravel
yes.
expires on Wednesday, sorry.
Mhm.
Thursday. So they've completed the application for renewal. I have the check here. Typically, if you remember, last year, not even last year, I guess, yeah, it was last year, or 2 years ago, you had Chip go out and do some verification of that. I'm just gonna ask you, so that it doesn't expire, is that due to the whole COVID thing and the idea or the fact that I don't have anybody to go out and check the information, I think a 1-year extension due to the circumstances, I think is ample, because we don't know when this mess is gonna stop. So you're gonna have somebody to go meet a person out on the lot. You know, you could do the social distancing without a problem, but 6 feet apart to show stuff, it might be a little difficult. So that's what I was gonna recommend to you, is just a grant of 1 year. And then next year, we can have a bigger discussion about it, maybe make it a little longer.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. John?
I didn't sign the first one, so I'm gonna,
But you were here for the discussion.
I was
so-
here for the discussion, but,
So,
yeah,
what's your feeling on it as far as the, giving him a 1-year extension due to the,
yeah, I'd go with it.
yeah, okay. Sherry?
Yeah.
John?
I abstain, I don't even know what we're looking at.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
He wouldn't know, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me take the pictures, yeah.
Yeah. He's
Well, I
taking-
have a packet for you, and so you can familiarize yourself. Basically, Tebow has a gravel operation, Clough Park Road. We granted him a permit after lots of discussion in 2019, and we did it for 2020. Unfortunately, with times that we're in now, I can't get anybody to go out and kind of verify some boundaries and some things like that. A, due to not having an inspector, but B, in the times that we're in. So my request or my recommendation to the board was to grant a 1-year extension due to the times, and he can come back in 2021 of May. So would you just, somebody
Doesn't
make
look
a-
like he's hauled anything out of there, it says 2019 at all anyway.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
You haven't
Yeah.
seen, that hasn't been a report.
Yep,
It says no excavation occurred in 2019,
yep.
Okay.
so.
I think the only thing that they did up there in 2019 was when Chip addressed it, to just clean up some
Yeah.
stuff, and that was it. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, they just want to keep it active, I think.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have the motion to grant the extension for 1 year.
Yep. Make a motion that we grant a 1-year extension on the renewal application for earth excavation permit for Tebow Corporation of New England. The location would be excavation site on Clough Park Road. It'd be tax map 409, lot number 107. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And John?
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. Okay, takes care of that.
Every year, we have a Piscataquag River Local Advisory Group. Typically, we have somebody from Ware be on the advisory committee on behalf of DES. So Dick Lutters has been on there for a long time. He filled out the application and he's willing to renew being our person for the Local River Management Advisory Committee for the New Hampshire Rivers Management and Protection Program. I guess it doesn't need a motion. There's 3 lines here for signature. If you guys still want to continue, he's still interested in doing it for us. I say we take the volunteerism.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Anybody opposed to it?
Anything, Joe?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yep, that's
He's been
fine.
doing it for a long time.
How about you, John? Any objection?
No objection.
Okay,
Okay,
so there you go.
so it's gonna come down for 3 signatures. I also have a cemetery deed for St. Clair's that needs everybody's signature on it. I'm gonna save the best for last, which will be Chase Park. I'm going to, at this time, 2 weeks ago, you asked me to send out, let's do something happy for a moment. 2 weeks ago, you asked me to send out, or you guys looked at an RFP for the flowers for this place. There was a bid that was turned in. You actually looked over the scope of work, and so I sent out the revised the revised flower care, whatever. And I did get a hold of Primex, and they do have a release of liability form that I would have, it's a hold harmless document that I would just alter to have it say town aware, it's from another town. And so in the bid, I wrote, successful bidder will be required to sign a hold harmless document prior to beginning work. So that was done, the hold harmless agreement is here, and I have 2 bids. One came email, and I put it in here. The other was dropped in the outside box, so you guys can have your pleasure in opening them up.
Okay. Contestant number 1. There we go. The first one is from Moody Pond Marketplace. The town of Ware, High Street, Ware, New Hampshire. Proposal for planting, weeding, watering, and maintaining the whiskey barrels in front of the stone building and town office. I got a quote of $1,850. The second one is a flower care bid. And that came in from Rhonda Gregg of Quaker Street. And it's broken down at flowers for barrels, each barrel $1,012.35. Fertilizer $14. Potting soil, lists out materials. Total is $1,080.35 for a total bid with all the stuff in there for $1,880.35.
Cool.
Yeah, very close.
Either way.
Yeah. What's the board's feeling on it? What's the 2 prices again? One of them's
$1,850.
Well, $30 difference.
$1,850 and $1,880, so
Yeah, $30.
$30 difference.
I mean, Moody's Pond's done them,
She used to volunteer to do them until.
right, but she's done, what, 2 or 3 years now on the bid?
been a
Probably
while.
like
Under a
5.
bid.
No,
Yeah, at least 2 or
Maybe
3 rounds.
3.
Probably been 3 years.
3 years
probably.
under the
I know
bid.
she did them quite a number of years before.
For out, yeah. For-
So, anybody have any other feelings on it? Sherry? How about you, John?
Not really.
Oh, really? Okay, so, what's the board's feeling with the low bid, which is what, Moody Pond, right?
1850.
Yeah, I think she's done fine.
Okay, anybody gonna make a motion? Or I'll make a motion. And we'll accept, for the bids for the flowers for the, at the stone building and the town hall, the whiskey barrels and, flower beds, at those locations. We have a bid from, Moody Pond for $1,850, which was the low bid. We'll make a motion that we accept their bid. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What'd you say?
I think he said yes.
Oh, I thought you sneezed, I wasn't sure.
So I have one other, so the conservation, I think we talked about this before. They're having an issue with encroachment on town land out at, looks like the old Sykes property. So the conservation,
Didn't stop.
I don't think it got moved the first time that we sent a
Lakes
letter.
property, that's,
It's, right.
Concord Stage, yeah.
So the conservation has asked that we endorse, send a letter. Conservation's been aware of the encroachment. At the time you parked the company-owned trailer, Conservation Commission mailed you a letter in November 2018 asking you to remove, remember that we had stuff from the police department, took pictures?
Yep.
Company-owned trailer was removed after contact with the police department. The logs are still on the town land, never removed. The town's notified New Hampshire Forest and Lands of the issue, is planning to work to resolve this through court action if necessary. The Eastman Conservation Area is protected by an easement with PLC, which includes many protective conditions. The use of motorized vehicles, including ATVs, UTVs, or snowmobiles on this property are not authorized. Use of town land for storage of personal vehicles, timber, and other will not be tolerated. Conservation boundary is clearly marked with yellow blazing. Now, I'm just gonna say, I was told that this was, there might be one log or so. I'm just asking if we should have, I'm not saying this is wrong or right, is have another party look at it as well. I'm not dishing anybody, I
No,
just, I
think
guess to
it's
go
been a
out and
while, I think we should get more documentation on it, just to make
Well,
sure
I just wonder if you guys want to go out. John, you're familiar with the
Yep.
forest. If you could just take and see if the logs are the whole log pile or if it's one off the edge.
It's out by your old house, right?
It's over by your
It's
old
out behind
house.
my house, if you go
I
straight through
just,
the driveway,
I
it
don't
goes
have
straight
a
out
problem
back.
sending the letter, but there was, someone had said that it was on their land,
There's
whether
a-
the pile got moved
there's
because the
another-
building permit's been issued.
Yeah, there's
And
another
I'm not
residence.
doubting that the Conservation Commission is right.
Yep.
But we learned tonight that you might as well go see it for your own eyes
Yeah.
before you're gonna
Sometime this week
pen
I'll
your
check
name
it
or
Yeah,
something.
because, if you go up where I used to live, you go right straight through.
Right.
There's a house in that lot just behind it, there's a building. that
You
somebody
can't miss,
bought.
you can't miss the
and-
construction, because there's been
Yeah.
a building permit applied for.
Yep, so,
So,
it's
I
just
guess-
up behind there.
Lesson learned out of this evening, if somebody, you guys would go look at it before you sign it.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and then I can have it prepared for 2 weeks from now?
Yep.
Yep.
Would that be all right?
Works for me.
I have to write it down. It makes it easier for the minute taker. Yes. Just that you can go on your own time, just a couple
Yep.
of you go look at it. It says it's clearly marked by the blazing,
Yep.
so if you guys can take a peek.
Okay.
Look at it. Okay, and then 2 weeks. So, let's bring ourselves around to Chase Park. 2 weeks ago, we've just talked about Chase Park and the idea of having, which I think at the time, and I'm just gonna speak for a minute if you allow me to, I think at the time, might have sounded like a good idea. And I know in my mind, when I had spoken to some of them, that having the landowners be able to put their boats in and not have to, I don't want to say deal with the ones that are going to fish for a day and come out when you're trying to put boats in. I guess that's where I was thinking. Since then, as we all know, there's been a lot of stuff posted everywhere. We've gotten some emails. A lot of the suggestions out there, due to the governor not having a definitive decision on what he's going to do till May 31st. There's been a couple of suggestions of, is not just for the property owners, is if we're going to we either open it for all or we close it for all. So, I will tell you that I did call and talk to Fish and Game. I don't have his name, I have it written down at home because we called on a Friday night. So Fish and Game views Chase Park as being town-owned property. So basically, he considered it private property that the selectmen have the authority to open or close. Being said that, which he said is why the gate is outside the boat ramp inside the gate. And the reason he considers it private, or Fish and Game deems it as private, it's because it's $30 to put your boat in. And if it was open, you just go put your boat in.
Yeah, it's
So,
not a public boat.
at
ramp, no.
their opinion, they're not gonna get involved with town politics, but their opinion is it's considered like, private property, and it's entirely up to the board, just like you're in charge of the other buildings. Now, a couple of suggestions, I will further add that, if you wanna call it a mistake, whatever, you don't have to even listen to me if you don't want to, but, I think in talking with the chair of Parks and Rec, she's even suggested that because their board is small enough, there's 5 of them, they would like to start meeting and at least start the hiring process. So right now, there's 4 of them, including Selectman Van, the director, and then they can conduct interviews with potential hires. They've also gotten some information coming to them on the invasive species plants so that the people could be trained to look for them when they put the boats in. So given that, I think we could move along. I think it's a kind of a 2-step. We close it for everyone. And the thought was 3 weeks to give them time to meet, to interview, to train, and then to be open. So best case, I guess I'd be looking at June 6th.
Yeah.
And if you look back at what we've always done, we always opened after Memorial Day weekend, weekends only, because school was still in session.
Right.
So in looking at the calendar, you'd be looking at June 6th and 7th. You'd be looking at June 13 and 14. Now, it's my understanding that school's out the 12th. So as of the 15th on Monday, we would go back to, if the governor provides the beach to be open,
Right.
then we would go back to opening it. But we could at least open the boat ramp, not by appointment. It could be opened first come, first serve, I guess, on June 6th.
My only thought on that, you're gonna have a logistical nightmare of traffic, trying to get all the camp boats and all the general public boats in there. I mean, it's always been separated, I believe it's always been separated out.
I never understood it to be
I
separate, my
never
personal
understood it,
opinion.
but I couldn't.
But again, I mean, you had a different director, you had a
Let's see when they
different
open it up.
chairman. I'm not at all gonna involve anybody, because it's really our position. Whether it was done that way and not shared here, I don't know.
I may be wrong,
I
but
don't know.
it's gonna be, if you wait until the 6th to have
Have they even put the
well
boards
over
in?
100 boats put in that water.
Have they even put the boards in to raise the lake?
Yeah.
yet?
The
Lake's up.
water is up.
It is.
Yeah.
That, is that the wishes of the park committee?
Yeah, well, hang on, just because I don't want that to get taken out of context. I've not talked to the Parks Committee. I've talked to the chairman of the park.
Okay.
This is what her thoughts were, to give them time to meet, to give them time to interview, to give them time to train, and to open it to everybody so that we're not slighting one person or the other.
I mean, I'm
Open it as far as the boat
Boat
ramp to
ramp only,
everybody.
until, we may find out come May, whatever, 31st, the governor's just gonna open it all.
Right.
At that point,
Then we
it's a different
readjust.
game.
Then we readjust, come the 1st, and then we'll readjust.
Well,
I'm
I
saying
think-
for what we know today.
Right, I think that, and John Van and I have had some conversation about this, I think that's probably the best route to go at this point. I think that people need to be a little more understanding as far as, we're trying to do the right thing. And everybody's kind of shooting from the hip, unfortunately.
Well, I mean-
Maybe our actions were wrong initially, saying we were gonna do appointment only for lake owners, on that, Memorial Day weekend. But now that we've had a little bit of time to back up 10 and think, I think now we need to allow the Parks and Recs Committee and the the director and the board to make their decisions and move forward with what they feel is best. We've kind of we as selectmen have entrusted that board with that task, and I think that we need to let them run.
And
if we need to meet, if they meet between now and our next scheduled meeting, and they need us to meet, then we meet. And they call us and they say, hey, we got a plan. We'd like to go forward with it. Can you guys meet? Then we meet.
If I can jump in here for a second.
No.
Too bad.
Go ahead, John.
So I've emailed the board with a suggestion, and I'll read off the email I sent to everybody. Good afternoon. Monday evening at the Selectmen's meeting, I'm going to request a meeting this week between the Board of Selectmen and the Parks and Rec Commission to discuss Chase Park and to discuss staffing. I would like to look at the possibility of opening up Chase Park this upcoming weekend for the boat ramp only, while temporarily closing off the rest of the park per Governor Sununu's orders. I'm going to propose that this meeting occur on Wednesday evening. I want to let you all know prior to hearing it on Monday evening. I know there's a lot of turmoil going on Facebook with Chase Park. You've all been doing a great job, and I have patience with everyone while we navigate these uncertain times. So with that, I did hear back from all of the Parks and Rec members, and they would all be agreeable to meet this Wednesday evening. If you guys would be willing to meet with them also, I think there's a lot that we all need to hash out in a very short period of time, what we're going to do over this weekend, and then discuss staffing.
Have to meet outside.
Issues.
Yeah, it would number one, it'd have to be outside, probably with their board. I know I won't be available. The other thing, I think that's a little quick. I mean, in the past, I know we opened it up the last weekend in May, and that's when Memorial Day used to follow. But I mean, I think for them to get their feet, according to what, Naomi's had a discussion with the
You got 3 weeks.
chairman. I mean, I would say,
It's 2 to 3 weeks to,
They've
enough
got-
time to hire, open,
who's gonna
train.
staff it? Because, we don't have anybody to staff that facility
They
if
haven't
they
even
open up
started
this
interviews.
weekend.
They haven't even started interviews
They
yet.
haven't even started any interviews, John.
Correct.
And the other thing is the other thing is they want to do training, to train people for invasive species, which is something that I don't think has been done in the past, and we have a responsibility to the lake and the lake owners and the property owners along that lake for milfoil
For the town.
and for the town in general. And
They're gonna have a lot of meetings in the next 3 weeks.
they've got to get a lot of stuff done themselves. I think to rush, to turn around and rush at this point, I think we made the rush judgment the last time. And, we were trying to do, with good intentions, but as they say, the road to hell's paved with good intentions, and it didn't work out the way we thought it would be. So I think now is not the time to rush, is to take a step back and get the rest of our ducks in a row and see what logistically we're gonna do, because
Yeah, I mean, we gotta get no parking signs up along.
we've got
Reservoir
signs along the
Drive,
road
and
we've got to do, we've
it's
got,
gonna
you
take
know,
at least a couple weeks here to get things.
yeah, so it's gonna be at least a couple weeks. So I think if we rush into it to do it this weekend, it's
Give a
not,
holiday.
Yep.
You got a holiday,
understand that.
yeah.
yep.
The other thing too is that we don't know what the governor's gonna do, and even if the governor opens up that area, you're gonna have to train people.
Well, he's opened up, as of tonight,
people away,
he's
and I
opened
don't
up limited for boating, kayaking, guide work,
But not
You
for
know.
beach.
but
Right,
not
but
the
if he
beaches.
if he opens the beach, and what Sherry's saying, if he opens the beach, I mean,
You
the,
got-
the other thing is too is just take COVID out of the picture. You still got to train the gate attendants.
That's right.
How to take the permit fees, how to issue the
Well,
permits, etc.
yeah, and we don't have the manpower to put down there to entertain everybody coming in and out of the park, so, and to restrict them from going any further than the boat ramp.
There's no fencing up there.
No.
People gonna walk in and out.
Yeah, so
They're not
I
gonna
think,
be able
I
to
think
do
the
that.
rush
They're
to
gonna do that
have a
anyway.
meeting and then get it open for this coming weekend, I think is premature.
But I think on the flip side of it too is some of the, I'll call it the riot, was excited by the statement that was put on the
Some of it was not,
on the town website, and I think what we need to do is, I think after tonight, or after, I shouldn't say after tonight, after the Parks and Recs meets and comes up with a game plan,
Yeah.
that's what we publish as the game plan.
Right.
And say that, yes, we are gonna push off a few weeks, Here's our projected date, January
January 6th, it's June 6th, January 6th.
Yeah, well,
Before ice
yeah,
fishing.
Yeah, we're going ice fishing again. But push it back to that June and say, hey, you know, there's a new plan, and we're moving forward.
I mean, we're you know, we don't have a magical answer. We don't have a crystal ball to figure out what's going to happen. So we're playing catch up the whole time and trying to
Absolutely.
and navigate, you know, all the hazards as we're coming into this. So yeah, and I'll admit that we probably acted in haste with the last time, but I think I think this time we shouldn't act that hastily. I think we should make sure we have everybody, the staff. You're going to have to get them down there to inspect, and that's the other thing. You know, you want to inspect the boats before they go in the water. You want to, you know, make sure, you know, they have all their paperwork, and so they can get a sticker, whether they're residents or non-residents, and they're down there, and then have them start handing out what they're supposed to, and that we have the rest of the park secured, so they're not there, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're going to use the beach too. I think that's the other issue we got to look at.
So.
And I think to do it,
I think that, you know.
they can meet if they want, but I think.
You can take a lot of things that got put in there. I've seen some of it. It got snapped to me because I don't do Facebook, but, you know, I think we're all trying to learn.
Yeah.
This is new territory.
It's all new
territory. This may be a new norm for us. It probably will be.
For a while.
I do know some of the towns are hurrying to do an online first come, first serve, buy your tickets, and then only allow between 25 and 50% of the people to do that. Well, if you want to go in and pick several days and buy a ticket for every day and take away from everybody, I don't want to rush into something
No.
that kind of.
And then, or end up having, you know, maybe non-residents get it, and then the residents are.
Right.
You know, and I understand
There's a tremendous liability, even if it gets opened up, because you're going to have high school kids mainly up there.
Kids,
and how are they going to keep
teenagers.
the small children that are up there playing apart?
Or, you know, the other thing I look at is that in this
big
time
one.
and seeing some of the stuff that's being put out on different venues, that some adults aren't going to be running,
Behaving.
you know, roughshod over the kids up there at work. And I don't want that to happen either. We want to make sure that everybody's prepared, that they're, you know, well-versed in everything, and that they.
And there has been reach out from the Lake Owners Association to offer to help. There's been, people have been very gracious that
Yeah.
understand we're trying
Yeah,
to
for
do it.
for every negative, we have 10 positives on
Right.
the other side, so
Yeah.
to speak. So,
that
but
have
it's,
reached out
but
to
you-
help.
I say we just let Parks and Recs meet and,
yeah,
and
and
go
deal
about
with it.
their
And
way.
I say the 6th is probably a good target date, unless
I would
they can
agree.
get together something
would agree.
sooner.
And at the 6th, you may not just open the ramp, you may open
The whole park by
door.
that
You may
time.
open the whole thing,
But at this
depending
point,
on what
we're
the
looking
government
at
says.
just the park. So.
Right, yep. So,
But you're right, there was,
Just for clarification, the general idea is to not open up this weekend.
Right.
To put in the boats as previously discussed, is that correct?
Correct.
that's
Correct.
correct.
I don't know if everybody heard that.
And they can, you know, they could. I would strongly suggest that they have a meeting and get their stuff.
Right.
you
Well,
know,
I think what
in
they're
a
gonna
row.
do is they're gonna reach out to, whoever has made an appointment and inform them of the decision to wait.
They have that list. So.
They have the list, they've made the appointments, they've got contact information. And there's people that called here to make an appointment, and I could call those people back or direct them to,
Yeah.
but I think right now, even, you know, a 2-week, let them meet, let them interview, let them train, so that we do open in the right way and don't
Yep.
end up in a mess.
And we have people that are, you know, we have people there to staff it.
Correct.
So in other words, you're not running around saying, "Oh, we don't have anybody." You know, it's like.
No, I think we need to be prepared before we open.
Yep. I think this time we have to take,
So.
you know, one step at a time.
So just to like reiterate what John said, so this weekend, the ramp will not be open. I will ask the Parks and Rec to get a hold of those that had appointments and let them know that.
Yep.
And right now, we'll be looking at the weekend of 6 and 7 for a weekend only.
Yep.
And then weekend of 13 and 14, and then, you know,
15.
and then the 15th.
Play by ear.
The 15th, the boat ramp could be open every day because that's technically summer.
Yep.
But again, we'll have to
At that point, the beaches could be open too,
We-
but
we
we
don't
don't
know
know.
about the
We
beaches,
don't know.
but this is
And
what
we'll
we
have
know
to make,
today.
and if they're not, then we have to make arrangements to
Oh,
close that
absolutely.
part off. So.
Yep, so, that works.
Okay.
Well,
On that same token, we did have a Parks and Rec person resign, and I just want to thank them for their service to the town.
Yep.
Appreciate it very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just for the public record.
It's, yeah, it would be Tara Mann was resigned from the Parks and Rec Commission and from the board. Thank you for your service.
Okay. That's all I have. Then we have correspondence, and then I would like non-public, but I would like to include,
Yep, I know.
I'd like to include the DPW director in the non-public.
Right, okay. Correspondence or other business?
We have one letter.
We have, yeah, let me, instead of trying to
That's from
pull
the
it up.
gentleman in Riverdale.
Yep. It's from a gentleman on Riverdale. It was sent to Selectman Burdick. It says, "Hi Sherry, I just wanted you to know how pleased we are with the whole Riverdale intersection repaved, including the triangle. No more dodging potholes as we turn out of Depot Street." I sent Benji Knapp a message too, thanking him for getting this done, as I know he's wanted for a long time. Best regards. There's one. The other one was from we discussed somewhat earlier, as a resident up on Bogue Road who had concern about shooting in that area. And let's see if I can pull this up again. If I can get the magical satellite to
That's in one of the letters I have here.
beam it down. Okay, here we go. And the resident up there is like I said, is concerned with the shooting, some shooting that's going on there. It says, it was sent to me directly, and it says, "Jack, I hope you are well. Because you are the chair of the Board of Selectmen, I am sending you this text of a hard copy letter that I addressed to all of the selectmen, which is being placed in your mailbox at the town offices today. Please find below a matter of great concern to me and other residents in our area. Thank you in advance for taking the time to read this. I greatly appreciate it." It says, "Dear Ware Selectmen, good day. I wish to bring a serious issue to your attention. Note that this is currently being investigated by the Ware Police Department," which we spoke to the chief earlier tonight. "Last week, my daughter found a metal object on the patio and brought it to my attention. When I saw it, I realized in horror that it was a projectile from a .45 caliber bullet. It was a projectile, meaning that it was fired from a gun and landed on our patio. Officer Muse confirmed that this is what it was and began an investigation. Residents of Bogue Road have long been inundated with people using the Class 6 roads behind our neighborhood for parties, riding ATVs, four-wheeling with trucks. I myself hunt in the area, but by and large, people go there to shoot. They access it from Mountain School Road near the power lines and from the access road off of Bogue Road. We have been tolerant because of these activities are legal. However, the line has been crossed and we can no longer be tolerant. Please stop and think to yourself for a minute about the severity of this. Someone discharged a firearm and that the bullet landed on our patio. If that doesn't scare you, then there is something wrong. How would you like to have this happen to you or your family? Please don't take offense to this, but the town has always turned a blind eye to the shooting that takes place. But you can't anymore. Something needs to be done. Something very bad, very, very bad almost happened. Think about that. I don't know what the answer is, but it's time to get serious." And then the last paragraph, "I will be contacting you shortly to see that this was discussed and is being taken serious. I also plan on securing legal counsel to ensure that the town is moving forward with a meaningful way to protect its citizens. Thank you for your time." The resident from Bogue Road. It brings up a lot of points. You know, the shooting, you know, is something that, you know, we don't have any ordinance in the town against it, discharging, except we follow the state law, which is no discharge of a firearm within 300 feet of an occupied structure. You know, who knows where the projectile was shot from? You know, it could travel quite a ways. If it only landed on their patio, so it didn't look like, and according to what the police chief said, it didn't, when inquired, it didn't look like it impacted anything except maybe a branch. It was a slight indentation in the projectile. It is a serious matter. It's going towards a residence. But in reference to that, if there's shooting going on and somebody has concern, then they should be picking up the phone and calling the police immediately, or Fish and Game if it's during hunting season, because it could be within the area of an occupied place. Yes, we do take it seriously, and I think that, you know, we have the state statutes in which to follow, and I think that's what we have to use as a guideline. So I think that the police know about it, and they're looking into it, and they're gonna be diligent about it, knowing Chief Moore and his department, they're gonna be doing their due diligence to keep an eye on this, and I think the other one is to probably contact Fish and Game at some point. But if it's a 45 round, well, 45 round, it could be out of a muzzle loader, because they're 45 caliber, some of them too. So, and they use almost the same exact round as a 45 handgun. So it's, but yes, it's something that, you know, we'll keep monitoring and keep an eye on it. And maybe at some point on the Class 6 part of it, if we have to, we'll put a sign up subject to gates and bars, and maybe put something.
Let's go to town meeting. You
We'll have
can't
to go to-
close it.
No,
just-
we'll have to go to town meeting and bring that forth as a warrant and close that section off. If that concerns to be an issue. If somebody else has some other thoughts.
You're gonna email us out where?
I get one out of Southware?
Yes.
I didn't see that one. Wait a minute, let me go look.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yes, and I also got, oh, yeah, I had to think for a minute. The one I just sent the wrong one to.
Yes, you did.
So you did track that down.
Yes.
I was also, got an email from a gentleman in town, on the south end of town, and it said, "Selectman Meany, could you have someone take a look at the flag in front of the town hall? The flag itself appears to be hooked at the top of the pole, and the weight is swinging free. The restraint that holds the weight has come loose and fallen. The condition of the flag looks to be torn and tattered also. Thank you for the time on this important subject." Yes, it is important for the respect due to the Stars and Stripes, and we contacted the right person. I believe it was Chief Azina who takes care of that, and the flag
I
is,
believe it's been fixed.
it has been, there's no flag on it at the present time. There's gonna be another one put up. We're replacing it, but the flag has been fixed. The
pole's been fixed.
And the pole's been fixed, so, the lanyard.
I brought that up
I know.
4 weeks ago.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but, so at this point, it is all taken care of, and thank you for the letter. And that's it. I got anything else?
I think I'm good.
No. John?
Nothing.
Okay.
He's still alive.
We keeping you awake?
Barely.
So you're gonna go into non-public
Yes.
Under C.
A and
And
C,
C.
and then,
Yep.
you'll adjourn after?
Right. Make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, A and C. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
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 And we will be adjourning after that non-public. And good night, everybody, and thank you.